Today I have a chicken here in front of me. Just want to show you quick because the chicken itself needs to get marinated. What you would do, you would marinate it overnight, so I want to show you this quick. And basically what you do is you just take off the breast, which is actually not as difficult as people think. Because all you'd have to do is take a sharp knife and follow down the contour of the breastbone. Now, if you have trouble with it, you can also take the actual leg off first, if that makes you more comfortable, which is very simple. You just go like so. And obviously the leg would not be discarded. It makes great chicken soup, it would make fried chicken, and all the good stuff was already celebrated in the 18th century. What I do now here is I take what we call a regular chicken breast. I would take the skin off, just like so, which comes off very simple. And then I'll trim down a little excess fat. Now, speaking of fat, in the 18th century, they were very frugal and very smart. So what they would do, when the chicken, as you get chicken sometimes, you see a lot of fat in the innery. You would take this fat and you would render it down into make chicken schmaltz. And they would use it a lot for cooking. Today's lifestyle, we don't do that anymore. We use oil or butter. And now I'm going to take this chicken breast and put it together with the other chicken that I already marinated before. You see the slight discoloring. It's because it already has herbs, variety of herbs. Any soft herbs you can put into it. Some basil, a little bit of thyme. And for this particular recipe, I use rainwater Madeira. And we come back to the Madeira in a little bit later, but the rainwater Madeira is the one that was on the Madeira ships on top of the ship. So when it rains, the rain will go on the rim, soak into the Madeira, therefore make it less sweet and much more preferable for cooking. But as you know, no salt. Salt would dehydrate it and make this dish not beautiful. The chestnuts were much adored, and the people that came from the old country to the new country would say, wow, those chestnuts are so much sweeter than they are in the old country. So people really did a lot more with chestnut than we know today. What we do today is basically chestnut roasted in the wintertime and some chestnut stuffing. This happens to be a fritter. What we do there is two things. Now those ones you can buy in our days in any Asian market, already peeled, already cooked. So you really cut yourself an hour work of work out of the recipe I'm doing today. So I'm just gonna chop them really quick. Now, in the cookbook that I have, you can obviously see that you can use a food processor. Since we today are celebrating the 18th century, I'm going to stay true to the 18th century. You won't chop it not too fine. A coarse chop will do, a little bit more than that. Then the other thing, I have shallots that I already pre-chopped, because we do have an aggressive menu today. And what I'll do right now is I'll take a little butter and take the butter in my spider. Spider, as you might want to know, is just a frying pan that has legs on it, so you can cook and you control the temperature. So here I go, I put the shallots in here. Set it right into the fire. That will take no time at all. The 18th century was known for spices. When you tell somebody about Philadelphia between 1773 and thereabout, it was all about spice. And the ships that made the southern route and came by the West Indies brought all the spices in. Today, when you tell somebody five spice, a lot of people don't know what five spice means. Five spice can be a variety of things. You don't have to follow one spice. Today, the five spice mix that I'm making is star anise. It has coriander. It has cloves. It has cinnamon. And it has some allspice. Now, like I said, you do not have to follow. You don't have to follow this exact recipe. This happens to be the one that I prefer, and it really makes good flavor. But quite frankly, any herb store or any spice store will have it for you, so you don't really have to worry about it. Add in the cooked shallots. Now comes something that most people say, more calories, more calories. But the 18th century, you just remember, people were in need of a lot more calories than we have today. You just want to cut in a small dice. What is interesting, bacon is always cooked. So what's in here, chestnuts are cooked, the shallots are cooked, put a little bit of allspice into it, a little bit of salt, just a tad, the bacon is already salty, a little bit of pepper. And now what I'll do is I make this into a mixture, some parsley in there, and this is now what's the filling of the fritter. I prepared some ahead already so that we can get started. This kind of looks like that when it's done, but now comes the packaging, which is the most important part. So what I'll do is I take bacon, I lay the bacon out in a gross. There are some stories, but I won't bother you with it, with why there was a gross and why wasn't there a gross, but I'll stick to what I know it, and this is because that's the only way I know how to hold them. There we go, one more. You divide your mixture in depending how many fritters you want to make. The fritter appareil, which is right here, you make it into a small ball, like the size of maybe a golf ball. You flatten it out a little bit. You lay it in here, and then you fold the bacon over 1, 2, 3, 4. You put them on a pan, and you flatten it down a little bit. So now I'll do a second one, and you got the idea already. Just fold them over, 1, 2, 3, 4. And take them on your thing, flatten down a little bit. When you get ready to cook those, you can just put them in a pan. Actually, a cold pan is fine for that because the bacon will slowly cook around. And also, for the modern chef, you just want to sear them off a little bit and then put them in the oven at about maybe 375 for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Remember that inside everything is cooked, including the bacon. I put it right on the fire, and you want to keep a slow fire on that. We'll come back to that and visit it in a little bit. Imagine that potatoes get picked in the fall and put into bins and put in the root cellar. And imagine what this potato would look like. So many books, like Virginia Housewife, Mary Randolph, others, many of them have noted in their books saying when the potato kind of looks a little bit disheveled, shriveled, whatever you might want to call it, you make it into a potato cake. Now, how do you make a potato cake? You boil potatoes, and everybody knows how to boil potatoes, so I don't want to take you through that, but you can imagine it's really simple. All you do, once the potato is cooked, let me move this over here. Now, next I'll do, I have eggs. Put some egg yolks in here. Okay. Egg yolks. I have some bacon in there that I already pre-cooked. So in other words, I don't have to worry about the cooking it right now, but it's basically like any kind of bacon chips go right in there. So I have my bacon bits in there. And now I have marjoram, which was a very adored spice in the 18th century. Very delicious with potato. The ancient Greeks said it has mythical powers, so it's been around for a long time. I have white pepper for that because I don't want any big sparks. I have a little bit of salt, not too much. I got some chives I already chopped. Put some chives in here, like so. And then comes the flavor, which is very beautiful. This is nutmeg that came from the West Indies into Philadelphia and brought a tremendous flavor to it. So you want to take that and just last moment, you don't want to buy any nutmeg that's already pre-ground. They would not do you any service for your recipe. But like so. And now all you got to do is you take some wooden spoon and you mash that all together diligently. You mash it, mash it, mash it. Now, can you put this into a food processor? The answer is yes, but you want to be very, very careful because if you put it to a food processor, the chances could be it gets too fine for you. I want to make sure. Beautiful. Oh, the flavor of that allspice and the star anise is just spectacular. You put this back on the fire, slowly. There we go.